the things I was doing in the world, and I've been a gang member all my life. And so I'm like on a collision course for death out there and not caring. I think that if I would have never came to death row, I wouldn't be the individual I am today. I wouldn't be as mature. I wouldn't be able to explain to my daughter's life, like the appreciation of it, because I didn't have any appreciation for life. I wouldn't be able to explain to them that there's a world out there and not just a city, you know. I wouldn't be able to do any of that without death row. I don't think I would have gotten over my anger. I would probably be in prison anyway. I would probably be dead. And so I really think that the chances were high I would be dead because of the gang activity I was into. And so, yeah, I look at death row as saving my life. And I'm actually happy I came here first because, like, the person I am today, I'm really, really satisfied with. You know, still a lot of growth, but I'm really satisfied with it. Yeah.
Even before this live interview was carried out, many people who had visited Christopher Young in prison believed he truly changed. Even the son of the man he killed pleaded with the state to spare his life, saying, "My father's already gone, and taking Young's life won't bring him back." I believe he still has a lot of good to give out there, but in the end, nothing could stop what was coming. Welcome to the True Crime Teller, where we dive into real crime cases, uncover the facts, and explore the truth behind every story. Kindly hit that like button and subscribe to support the community. It all started on November 21st, 2004 in San Antonio, Texas. The kind of Sunday where most folks were relaxing at home. But for 21-year-old Christopher Anthony Young, things were already spinning out of control. He'd been drinking hard, nearly 24 beers, and had taken cocaine. By midday, he forced his way into a woman's apartment while her kids were inside. Court records say he sexually assaulted her, then stole her car. She managed to escape and run for help, but Young was already gone. Just a block away sat the Mini Food Mart, a little corner store owned by 55-year-old Hasmukh Hash Patel, an immigrant from India. People in the neighborhood knew Patel as a kind, hard-working man who often kept his shop open late for anyone needing last-minute groceries. That afternoon, Young pulled into the parking lot. Inside, Patel noticed something was wrong. He quietly pressed the panic button to alert police and started to move away. But before he could get clear, Young chased him into the store, pulled out a gun, and fired. The bullet went through Patel's hand, then into his chest. Patel collapsed. Paramedics rushed him to the hospital, but he didn't survive. After the gunshot, Young didn't stick around. He ran out, jumped back into the stolen car, and took off. For the next hour and a half, he was on the move, picking up a prostitute and ending up at a known crack house not far from the scene. San Antonio police were already on alert. The panic button Patel pressed had brought them to the area fast, and witnesses gave them a description of both Young and the stolen car. About 90 minutes after the shooting, officers spotted the vehicle parked outside that crack house. They moved in quickly. Young didn't put up much of a fight. They pulled him out, arrested him on the spot, and took him in for questioning. Back at the Mini Food Mart, word spread fast. Neighbors saw the ambulance, the police cars, and the crime scene tape going up. Before long, Hasmukh Patel's family was hit with the worst news imaginable. Their husband and father had been shot during a robbery and didn't make it. Patel's son, Mitesh, later said that moment froze time for him. His dad wasn't just a store owner. He was the anchor of their family. The shock, the grief, it all came crashing in at once. And just a block away from where Patel was shot, another family was reeling in their own way. The woman whose apartment Young had forced into was still trying to process what had just happened. She had been assaulted in front of her children, her car stolen, and now she was hearing about a murder connected to it. For her, the fear wasn't over. Even with Young in custody, the damage had already been done. After Young's arrest outside the crack house, detectives began piecing the case together. They had the stolen car, panic alarm records, and a grainy store surveillance video showing Patel's final moments. A woman from the apartment also gave a detailed statement about the assault and the stolen vehicle. Ballistics matched the bullet from Patel's body to Young's gun, sealing the link between him and the shooting. By the time the case reached the courthouse, prosecutors had built a timeline that left little room for doubt. In February 2006, inside a Bexar County courtroom, Christopher Young stood trial for capital murder for the killing of Muk Patel during a robbery. Jurors saw the store video. They heard about the earlier assault. They listened to forensic experts, police officers, and witnesses. The defense argued that Young had been drunk and high, not thinking clearly, but the jury wasn't swayed. The verdict came back guilty. Then came the sentencing phase. In Texas, a capital murder conviction can mean life without parole or the death penalty. After hearing aggravating evidence, including Young's prior record, the jury chose death. Young was sent to death row at the Allenby Polinsky unit in Livingston, Texas, where he would spend the next 12 years. At the Polinsky unit in Livingston, Texas, Christopher Young's life settled into the strict, isolated rhythm of death row. 23 hours a day in a small cell. 1 hour outside for recreation in a fenced yard. At first, he kept mostly to himself. But over the years, something shifted. People who visited him, faith leaders, prison volunteers, even fellow inmates, started noticing a change. He began mentoring at-risk teenagers brought in for scared straight-style talks, telling them bluntly what his choices had cost him. He shared how, when he was just 8 years old, his father was murdered, a loss that left a hole in his life. He said joining a gang felt like finding a family, but it only dragged him deeper into violence and crime. For those teens, it wasn't a lecture. It was a raw warning from someone who had lived it and was paying the ultimate price. Inmates and staff said he'd stepped in to stop a suicide attempt, and once even prevented an assault on a correctional officer. He became someone others looked to for calm in a place built on tension. That change didn't go unnoticed outside the prison walls. One of the most surprising voices to speak up for him was Mitish Patel, the son of Hashmukh Hash Patel, the man Young had killed back in 2004.
I'm forgiving the man that's alive today who's remorseful and wants to change other people. I can't forgive or forget Chris Young from 14 years ago. I feel like the death penalty already is vengeance, right? So you're already giving someone that satisfaction. No one's saying let them out, let people out and run free and let them do whatever they want to. There's got to be a better way to deal with these situations. Again, killing him, two wrongs don't make a right. You killed my dad, you're killing him. Now all you've done is kill two people with intent, right? So if the more profound thing is if Chris walking into my dad's store with a loaded weapon, wanting to rob and shoots and kills with intent, you cart him into a room with sedation drugs and other drugs to end his life, it's intent. So there's nothing good that can come from it.
Mesh met Young face-to-face in prison. It wasn't easy, but over time he came to believe Young wasn't the same man who had pulled the trigger years earlier. When Young's execution date was set for July 17, 2018, Mitish did something extraordinary. He publicly asked the state of Texas to spare Young's life. He argued that killing him wouldn't bring his father back and that Young had more to give if he stayed alive. Faith leaders and activists joined in, pointing out that earlier that year, a white death row inmate named Thomas Whitaker had been granted clemency under different circumstances. They believed Young deserved the same chance.
I wanted to be like, I tried to start a Big Brother program because I know me, where I'm from, the credibility I have. I've been in prison. Growing up where I grew up at, prison that's where you're going. And we look to go to prison. And it's kind of like, gives you a stripe, gives you some credibility. And so because I have that, I can talk to boys, get their ear, and then take them away from it. You know, take them away from the path they're on, put them on a good path. And so I really I still want to do that. If I ever had a chance, I'm going to do that. And so I just think that's what young boys need. They don't have fathers out there. They don't have brothers. Single parent houses, I think they need a man to talk to. Somebody that's going to, take them to play chess, take them to play basketball, buy them some new shoes when they need some new shoes, take some of the stress off the mother too, right? So, yeah. And I really haven't ever had a chance to really apologize to my family either. Because although I thought I was being protective of them, I really hurt them too. And so I want to apologize to them too. None of that was intentional. Of course, I had numerous family members tell me to sit my ass down somewhere and didn't listen to them. And I should have. But I think they'll appreciate who I am now. And that's what I really want to show people, how a person can change, can grow up and mature. And so I do apologize for putting them through this stress. I hope they can appreciate where I am now. Kids too, my kids too. Because, they didn't want that father 14 years ago. They didn't want that father. They probably wouldn't have that father anymore. And so, yeah, I want them to appreciate that. Yeah.
Young was granted a live interview, which made many people believe he had truly changed. But just 4 days before the execution on July 13, 2018, the Texas Board of Pardons and Parole voted 6-0 to deny clemency. Young's lawyers filed an emergency lawsuit claiming racial bias in the clemency process. Courts at every level refused to intervene. The countdown to July 17th kept ticking. On the morning of July 17th, 2018, in Livingston, Texas, Christopher Young woke up knowing exactly how his day would end. His execution was set for that evening at the Huntsville unit, just 40 meters away. For his final meal, Young kept it simple. He requested pizza and chicken tenders with apple juice on the side. He ate quietly, talking only a little to the guards who had come to know him over the years. That afternoon, he was transferred to Huntsville. Outside the prison gates, a small crowd had gathered, some holding signs asking for mercy, others supporting the execution. Inside, the witnesses were escorted to their seats behind the thick glass of the death chamber. Among them was Mitesh Patel, the victim's son, who, despite his pleas for clemency, had decided to be present. At 6:13 p.m., the curtains opened. Young was already strapped to the gurney, an IV in his arm. He looked calm. When the warden asked if he had any final words, Young spoke clearly. "I want to make sure the Patel family knows I love them like they love me. Make sure the kids in the world know I'm being executed and that they should stay away from bad people so they don't make bad decisions. I hope my death will make people come together and help each other more." A lethal dose of pentobarbital began flowing. Within seconds, Young's eyes grew heavy. He took a deep breath, then stopped moving. At 6:25 p.m., he was pronounced dead. Mitesh Patel later told reporters that despite the pain of losing his father, he still believed Christopher Young had changed and that his story should be remembered, not just for the crime, but for the man he became in his final years. Christopher Young was just 21 years old when he committed the crime in 2004. He spent about 13 years on death row before being executed at the age of 34 on July 17th, 2018. But here's the part that still leaves people puzzled. Young didn't take anything, not even money from Patel's mini mart that day. So, was it really a robbery or something else entirely? What was his true reason for going there? We want to hear from you. Do you believe justice was served, or do you think Young deserved a second chance, just like the victim's own son said? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to support the community.